Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Dear friends and colleagues, by the mercy of Allah, God Almighty, we are able to continue our program on parenting education. And we are blessed to have two experts with us, Dr. Habiba and Dr. Najeeb, who will share their resources, information with us on third question that we are going to elaborate today. So the third question that we are going to discuss today is how should parents help children to eliminate addiction to devices and games? Now, I would like to introduce the question little bit different way. So from my experiences and other parents' experiences, we have seen that when parents begin parenting from the early age, they introduce this cell phone, iPad, and many other electronic devices to the children to feed them, to keep them engaged where parents can do other tasks, or keep them quiet where parents are doing job or discussing with other kind of activities. Now children got used to these devices, but not only used to, they got addicted to these devices. Now later on, parents find it very difficult, and parents find it is affecting children health. Nowadays we hear recommendation from the physicians and other concierge organization that limit your screen time to the children, 2 hours or less than that. But now it's become challenging for the parents as well as children, because children got addicted or used to these devices to do their other activities. So we would like to start with Dr. Habiba to give us information what are the solutions for the parents and definitely for the children, so children don't get addicted into these devices and they can move on with other activities in their life. So please go ahead, Dr. Habiba.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity, and maybe whatever the experience I have got, so I will share with all of you. Maybe it will be useful for the everybody in the community. So now it is very sad, that the children are addicted to these electronic devices. So in one way or the other, in the beginning, the parents, to for their convenience, right? Like feeding, or sometimes if they are doing some work, so to keep them safe, to keep the children safe, they put the TV on, or they give the iPhone or iPad. That way the children are safe, and then they go on with their work. But then what happens, these children from the beginning, they are like fascinated, and they are liking. It is a lot of like flash lights and sound and things like that. So they get addicted right now. So first and foremost thing, so we need to, like, whatever, if they are like previously addicted, or if we are not going to start. So first and foremost, parents are the role models, right? So if they say, okay, see, don't do it, it's not allowed, it's not going to work. Even they need to be like role model. So the father comes from work, comes home, and then all the time he is in the iPhone, or keep on doing it. Right now, I know the iPhone, it has everything, right? So, but still, they need to have time with the children, and like that, when they are like talking with the children, unless there is any emergency, they should not be like browsing, right? So in information, phone, they can attend an important thing, but when they are with the children, they should not be okay. So they are not listening to the children, what they are talking all the time, they are on the phone like that. So number one, they need to be the role models first. Number two, so yeah, it is why these people, why the children are addicted. Number one, as I said, it is safety. So mom is doing some other work, and so the child is like safe, watching something and sitting there. But if the child is going to do all the time, it is only that means, the children, they need to develop all sensory inputs. They need to like explore things, look around different environment, how things are, touch sensations, all that. That's the reason why toys, we give them toys. So yeah, it incorporates, it will have some sound, and then so it has like touch sensation, movement, and everything they will observe and do, right? But when it is electronic media, so those sensations, you using those sensations is like minimized. It's only like vision. It's only vision and hearing. Those are the two things. And also those are like artificial. They are not natural. So, so number one, okay, so maximum, even the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends only maximum 2 hours, only maximum 2 hours of screen time for the children. So earlier, it is after 2 years of age. Younger the age, don't even initiate or very, very minimum. Keep it very minimum, right? So, but then after 2 years, it is only maximum only 2 hours. And what to do? So give them some toys and then give them something interesting for them. Another thing, it is so many video games. They are so much, such a lot is there. The children are like, keep on watching it. So they don't like any other thing, because then find out, give them more options, let them play with other things like, Legos and things like that, and different things, what they have interest, make it interesting. And then you also join with them doing things like that. That way, and minimize maximum 2 hours. And another problem, one, it interferes with development, and then they don't have any other like, talking. We see, I'm really worried about the coming generation, because now you are like walking around, you are not looking around, you are not wishing anybody, you are not smiling anybody, all you are just looking. You're looking on the, even the adults, I'm telling, looking at the iPhone, keep on, or like, talking. And your concentration is in only in that. And then, so you don't make any eye contact with others, you don't make any connection, you are not observing around in the environment what is happening. So those abilities all we are losing. So that is not good. And number two, obesity is the biggest problem. And, about more than 1/3 of children are either obese or overweight. So they are not playing. Previously, children loved to go and play outside, but now this is so fascinating. And then parents also think, okay, my child is like safe inside the room, doing something, watching something. So I'm safe. And then they, keep on working. They are doing their own work. So maximum only 2 hours. And then, so we need to give them something very interesting for them, so that yeah, go out and play with them, be saying, yeah, it is like small children means you need to watch when they are like playing outside. It is, that is very convenient. They are like looking at the iPhone or iPad, and then you can carry out. But for their development, for their well-being, so we need to do things right, and then get them some toys, and then whatever they're, take them while you are going out for shopping, take them, and then what are the different toys and things like that, as I said, Legos, and for girls means some handcraft things, or even for boys painting, those kind of things, whatever is their interest. So try to give it to them. That way, when they are like inside the house, they are playing with that. And then always 1 hour of vigorous activity minimum, everybody from 2 years onwards. So we need to do that. And also another problem with this is, the children are so much used to this flashing lights, and then like exciting sounds and all, and the classroom is boring for them. So they don't like the classroom. They don't want to like listen. It's really boring. They want everything like, all fast paced. So that is also another problem. So to avoid that, we need to like, minimize the screen time only 2 hours. How to do it? Number one, role modeling. Number two, give them options to them, which are which are interest to them, options to them. And so, yeah, those are the important things. And now I invite Dr. Najeeb to tell your
No,
views
you did
and
a
opinion.
very good job. You cover my subject very well, so very nicely done. So it's a very important topic and very it affects all the family, and to understand, it's very important for the parent to understand this topic because it has a long lasting effects on kids career, kids life, parents life, so we need to know that. So world has changed. Psychiatry is learning, let's put it that way. Up till now, DSM-5 TR, which is we use all for diagnostic purposes, they have not labeled as addiction terminology with internet, correct? So we have to be very specific. They have not. The reason why they have not, because they're gathering the information, and it's a very tedious process. They go through all the way to figure out how much addiction does it follows, like substance abuse, dependence, so how much it has before they can come up. But I am very, the way things are going, it's there. It's just a matter of time and it will be called addiction. So knowing that how much it does affect the human body is there. We don't have the data to prove scientifically because we need a lot of papers from multiple sources and analyze to put that it confirmed the validity, the power, the analysis, removing the biases. So it's a meticulous process. It takes time. Any research takes time, and then goes through the different process of research on a research onion to go to the final version and get accepted. So it's there and it's coming. It's just a matter of time. So accept it that it is there, that this is addiction. It meets pretty much all the requirement for addiction, but it's just a matter of getting all the data together. So how it does addiction, that's the biggest issue. How a child get addiction issues or addiction-like behavior in this. Because basically, in internet or game-like procedures, what they do is a change of screen. When there's a change of screen and change of character, the person who is controlling the screen gets extreme excitement, correct? And they make games that making extreme excitement. Okay, when you have extreme excitement, the neurotransmitter, especially the dopamine, really kicks up, and the extreme surge of dopamine gives them the so much pleasure out of it that they wants to hook up on it. So when they take away internet, the dopamine falls down and they don't like the behavior. That is one of the biggest reason when people go in addiction, like that is the reason is sudden surge of dopamine, and then when it goes down, they don't like it. And the other thing which also happen is you develop tolerance. So when you have a surge of dopamine, and then next time you take the same thing, you don't enjoy the same amount. So you need to do more and more and more. So you develop tolerance. So same thing does not give you the pleasure. So you put more time on it to get that feeling. So you get the good feeling and then you get hooked up. This is what internet does, correct? And that is the main phenomena behind that you have those surge, and it gives you that thing that causes that behavior. So it changes the human behavior, especially the kids' behavior. And you said very nicely that, at the younger age, you need all the five senses, all the senses you need. There are more than five senses, but basically your five senses you need: touch, taste, and all those things. So you need to learn those experience and all those things. When we are using internet or iPad or any electronic devices, we're restricting to one or two senses and eliminating, and then we are hooking up learning phenomena changes, so you want the kid to use all the senses because the brain is developing. Brain wants to learn, hear the sound, touch sound, feeling sound, a vision sound, all needs to be developed properly, and the interaction and the behavior also needs to take place. But when you restrict to one level or two senses, you're avoiding other senses of normal development. That is not the best way to develop, and you need to develop other senses. So, and then when you develop that urge uh of means you like so much that you get hooked up, so it's very difficult to sometimes get out of it. So it's early that you should not get into that habit, especially under age of 2, because basically you cannot use as a nanny or something to replace, because you like the parents-child relationship or caretaker-child relationship to develop. The bonding should develop. The attachment should develop between the caretaker and the child to be properly nourished, properly behavior develops. So if that is left out and your internet became your parents, you are gone away from the normal behavior. Internet is never your parent. They cannot be any role model. So in that scenario, we should understand that parents have the responsibility and they are the role model, not the internet is the role model. So we have allowed internet to become a role model, and that should not be the way. Other thing which should also kept in mind, that the distance between eye and the internet is much lesser than required, because when they start playing games, they are very close to eyes. The ophthalmologists and other people are watching that people are wearing glasses at younger age group, and that's one of the reasons, because they're straining their eyes, because they're using internet or devices very close by, which is not healthy. So that is one thing. And also learning behavior needs to develop very much. The other thing which you always have to keep in mind is that when you have to be very creative when you don't have internet and you have not much thing, you will start thinking what to do and how do I enjoy and do things. If you're not creative, basically you allowing the internet or devices to take care of you, so your thinking mind goes away. And when your thinking mind goes away, you are not developing the real thinking mind you should do. You're depending on internet to give you feedback to think. No, you should be thinking back with least amount of information to be creative, because your mind is developing, you want creation, you need to explore, learn, and create. That is the right way of doing things, rather than somebody teach you and you just do it. So you're not opening your mind to learn new things. Child has to learn new things, feel, touch, experience, and their interaction. That is the normal behavior is. Now we have replaced that with a device which tells you and you accept that. So you have gone away from normal behavior, and that is not correct way of development. And that should be always kept in mind, that you're going away from normal behavior, how you should learn things, and when we see this is in a normal behavior. Now people with mental health issue, especially like people with attention deficit disorder, they will love internet, because they have a short lifespan of interaction, and then they flip the choices because they are getting bored. For them, internet is the best device for them, because it keep them hooking up, because of the screen keeps on changing, the role model keeps on changing, so they love it. So that's why you will see people with mental health disorder, especially attention deficit disorder, they love internet or internet devices. So keep in mind that this is not the best device for our kids when they're growing up. Yes, we need internet, we need the devices, but it has to be used appropriately at appropriate time. And parent needs to be a role model for our kids, not to replace internet as a parent. That will be my suggestion to all of us. Hopefully, I answer your question.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Najeeb.
Yeah, thank you. That is very root cause analysis of the question we just learned from both of our experts, and I really find it very valuable as a parent to apply this and also share with other parents. However, coming from different parents' perspective, I would also like to share that there are families who are living in a very tough situations. Could be the environment they are living is a high crime rate area. So, and also the two parents, income are necessary for their survival. And as a result, I'm talking about here in the United States, this is the demographics of, many, many families and many, many cities we can find. So what parents do, I have talked with parents, and we can also see from dramas and other movies that it's better for my child to stay with the device and be safe, like Dr. Habiba mentioned, for the safety reason, rather than I leave them on the street front yard, they are going to be subject to getting shot, or they are going to be subject to getting, drugs or many other, crimes, human trafficking or many other things. So it's parents like disregard this kind of suggestion, and they are like, hey, what about the negative impact of these devices? It might be outweigh the safety, the security, the moral value my child will build, or physical deficiencies they might not be aware of it. So they kind of disregard this suggestion because of this socio-economic, and other difficulties the parents. We know there are many refugee families come. We're not talking about only their challenges, we're talking about overwhelming majority of low income families in the United States. If we look at them, their situation, same, their situation same. So what would you suggest to these parents, configuring these negative side effects of these devices addiction for the children and their convenience? Is safety is more important, or they are physical and critical thinking development more important for them? So we want to give them, parents, option. These are the option. If you take this, this is what is going to happen. So any last moment recommendation for these families, please?
It's a difficult, it's a extremely difficult, and it varies from person to person with the situation. In that situation, you have to look on both the side, as you mentioned. You can use at times internet device more, but in a constructive way. It's not just like, okay, you can just watch this and I don't. If you're spending a little bit more time, then it has to be very constructive. That's mean you need to spend time with the kids also after the internet is done. What did you learn? How can I help you understand this concept? So that portion needs to come in after the internet is done. So it's not just internet take over all the roles and you never come in and you go to sleep. So that has to be kept in mind, that in those situations, if you really need to be protected, there's always exception to the cause, but then you should also step up somewhere to take your role as a parent. Just don't rely as internet being a parent. You also have to spend some times together to get more information. What did they learn? How can I make their life better? And have a healthy conversation with them before they go to sleep, or all those things. The more time you spend, the better it is. So that will be my suggestion, and I understand it's very tough at that time, and you have to go by the way things are and what is the most safest thing to do. You should do that rather than do what's written. There's always exception to the cause. That will be my answer to your question.
Yeah, nicely said. The words you said, this electronic devices cannot replace, cannot do the nanny role or the parent role. So the parents, yeah, like minimum like 2 hours, and then rest of the time the parents need to spend time with them, and then come out with like innovative ideas, with little things at home, so that the children will start thinking and doing things. So it will be good for the development. And that way, so it will prevent. So it is easy, for the parents, it is easy. Safety comes first for them. So it is very easy. Keep the phone in the child's hand, and then, that way the child is not bothering them. So, but we need to teach the importance to the parents. So nothing can replace the parents' presence. They need to spend more time with them, and then come up with uh, innovative ideas, whatever is available in the household, simple things with that. And then the child, keep playing with those things, and minimize their electronic time. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Those are very good information as well. And from my experience, I have also seen, when two parents working professional jobs, I have seen, for example, most of the cases is the mother leaving the career because they are expecting a baby, and they are very conscious the time they need to invest for this child, or multiple child coming on board. So there are conscious parents, they understand, from my experience, I have seen that, they do, leave their career to give quality time. But there are also parents who don't need to leave the career completely. They can do part-time, or they can arrange alternative arrangement for their children, and so they can build a constructive relationship with their children's engagement, and also keep their career as well. As far as low income families, where this kind of options are limited, there are parents who coming up. I have seen from my experience, and talking with many parents, that if they cut their cost, and if they try to control their spending budget, they can manage with limited income very economically and effectively, with the blessing of God Almighty. So for those parents, don't think you don't have enough time. You both parents needs to work. I think I would also share the other parents who are getting by with even less than 50,000 income, household of 3 or 4 children. So there are also exceptions. So we find both cases are working, but giving importance to our children should be higher priority than anything else in our life. So by saying that note, would like to say many thanks to our expert for their dedicated information that they have provided, and may God Almighty bless you. We continue to look forward to talk. And then if you have any questions, our audience would love to have it. Please feel free to share your comments in our YouTube channel, or feel us, send us questions at admin@ethicsinfaith.org, and would love to discuss your questions in our program, so you can get benefit as well. Thank you both of our expert again. Have a blessed day. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.